That you're saying to me a prophet of God deceived his father to steal the inheritance of his brother.
In the same way that you're basing everything you're saying upon one man who claimed to have a revelation on the mountain, and claimed that God had spoken to him and told him what to ask.
Okay.
Okay. In that same way.
Where did Moses make that claim?
What?
Where did Moses make that claim?
Where did Muhammad make the claim?
How do we know Muhammad is telling the truth? Yeah. Because he's making a claim.
Yeah.
So we have to address his claim. Moses isn't making a claim, you're putting the claim on him, so I don't have to address that claim. If I refute your claim that he was crazy, and I refute your claim that he was lying,
yes,
therefore he's telling the truth.
Okay, fine.
Then you'll have to accept Islam as true. You should be happy, you should be rejoicing that one man has gone down to a pagan place and told him to stop worshipping idols and to worship the God of Abraham.
Exactly.
So you believe back in that time that a Jewish boy got married at 18?
There weren't Jews in those
Maybe
days.
some got married at 13, some at 18, doesn't it?
No, because there was no such thing as teenagers then days, was it? When your balls dropped, you're a man.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it.
Well, it was young as 13.
No, but they class girls of 13 as an old maid if they're not got married. Okay, so here's what it says. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took his bread and skin of water, and putting it on her shoulder, he gave it and the boy to Hagar. So he gave the boy to Hagar. Yeah?
That's not the order of the verse.
Oh, well, I'm going off what it says here.
I've got the Hebrew here.
Okay, I'm going off. Well, this might be the Septuagint. That's what I said to you. This might be the Greek Old Testament. Probably.
He doesn't want to relate to it. He wants to stick to that.
No, but I can only go for what I'm read, isn't it? All right, because you read this.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see what you're
Let me continue. And then she departed and wandered into the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water in the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Okay, she placed a 13-year-old boy under the shrubs.
Okay.
And then she went and sat across from him at a distance about a bow shot, for she said to herself, let me not see the death of the boy. So now she doesn't want to see this boy under the shrubs dying, okay? So she sat opposite him and lifted her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. Now, I think in the NIV it says the cry of the lad. Yeah.
It says voice in the Hebrew.
Okay.
The Hebrew is code.
Anyway.
So the principle here is this. If you were reading this, you would assume this is talking about baby.
No, I wouldn't. Because if it meant baby, it would have said baby.
So how did Hagar put a 13-year-old... Oh, come on, please. She put a boy under the shrub. How do you put a 13-year-old under a shrub? Why would you put a 13-year-old...
It's a bush.
Oh my God, you arguing over a shrub or a bush?
Well, a shrub is much smaller than a bush, isn't it?
Okay, she put a 13-year-old under a bush. Really? He's the man.
Anyway, what does it matter what age you are?
No. What it is, you see, for me, explaining why I have problems with the Old Testament is when I see stuff like that.
Right.
It don't marry up.
Okay.
Then I see the claim that Isaac is the first, is the one.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the one who will be a baby at that time is Isaac.
But God said to Abraham, your seed will be reckoned.
No, that's irrelevant, because if you,
Isaac,
what's the rights of the firstborn?
Ishmael.
What's the rights of the firstborn?
It doesn't matter.
What does it say?
It was illegitimate.
According to
said
the
that
first thing,
through Sarah.
Does not go through.
What's the rights of the firstborn?
Hagar is a...
Oh, really?
Hagar
So
is
where
a
did you 12 tribes come from? Where did the 12 tribes of Israel come from?
Well, eight of them came from Leah and Rachel.
How many wives did Jacob have?
And 4 came from Bilhah.
How many wives did Jacob have?
Upgraded to full wives.
How many wives did Jacob have?
4.
How many of them were slave concubines? 2.
None of them were slaves.
They weren't concubines.
And 2 of them at the beginning were concubines and were upgraded.
So they were concubines. Who upgraded them?
Upgraded to what?
Who upgraded them?
What?
Who upgraded them?
Jacob.
Jacob upgraded them.
Yes.
Jacob had the authority to upgrade his wife from a concubine.
Yes.
Why? What's the difference?
There's different types of marriage contracts.
Okay.
We don't have the concubine contract nowadays.
Right.
But it's clear that even in the time.
What's the rights of the firstborn?
What?
What is the rights of the firstborn?
A double portion.
No, what does it say? What is, according to God, what does he say about the firstborn? Who has the rights? The firstborn?
Yeah, the firstborn.
How can you assert those rights? You can't. Even if you detest that wife, the rights of the firstborn is the rights of the firstborn.
Yes.
So here's the problem we've got. First of all, Jacob...
Not the firstborn.
Here's the problem I don't get as well. Jacob, according to your book, deceived his father and defrauded his brother.
if you're going to bring the 12 sons as a proof, okay,
I'm not bringing any proof. What I'm saying to you is this: why I can't take this as reliable. That you're saying to me a prophet of God deceived his father to steal the inheritance of his brother.
Wait, who?
Jacob stole it off Esau.
Yes.
Whose was the inheritance? Esau. Who stole it? Jacob. Who got deceived? Isaac.
Yeah.
I can't take that serious. Personally, it's just me.
What's wrong with that?
Why can't you take that seriously?
A prophet of God.
Isaac was blind.
Right, Isaac was blind, so Jacob took advantage of that and pretended to be his brother,
Yes.
and so he basically inherited something that wasn't his inheritance,
Yes.
right? And God didn't have a problem with it. And you guys came out of that progeny
Yes.
of deceit and deception. I have a problem with
He was
that.
following the command of his mother.
Okay, I'll say it again to you. Jacob is a prophet of God. I don't believe prophets of God do that.
Yes, but his mother was also a prophetess. So she was.
So it's even worse than, isn't it? So two messengers of God have lied to Jacob's father and deceived her brother,
Yes.
his brother.
And do you know why?
Why?
Because Esau had done things that Isaac did not know of that made him not fit for to get the first.
Who said that?
Huh?
Who said that?
It's evident in the scriptures.
And of course it's evident in the scriptures because the authors of the scriptures are the Jews.
No, they recorded.
So everything's going to benefit them.
They
So
recorded
everything in
history
the
as it
Quran is going to
happened.
benefit the Muslims because it was made by Muhammad.
No!
It's going to benefit his people.
And there's your problem. You believe Muhammad is the author of the Quran.
So who wrote it?
No. Do you believe Muhammad is the author of the
I asked you
Quran?
earlier on, who wrote the Quran?
Okay, there's a difference between who wrote it and who authored it. Would you agree?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. If someone puts an earpiece in now, yeah?
Yeah.
And starts reciting Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone,
Yes.
and I start writing down what I've heard, and I finish a book of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, who's the author? Me or J.K. Rowling?
J.K. Rowling.
Right, what have I done? I've just copied it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've wrote it, but I'm not the author.
Okay.
They're not my words.
Okay.
Okay. Same way, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he's basically the man with the earpiece.
Well, Moses is also the man with the earpiece.
No, but that's not the point.
It's the point.
I'll tell you why it's not the point.
That's exactly the point.
I'll tell you why it's not the point. I'll tell you why it's not the point. Because you said Muhammad authored the Quran. You asked who authored the Quran, isn't it? And I'm saying to you, God Almighty authored the Quran.
Okay.
That's my claim.
And I'm telling you that God Almighty authored the Torah.
Right. And why do you believe that?
Because
Yes, the scriptures.
not why I believe it, it's why I know it.
Show me where where does Moses say this stuff? That God revealed the 5 books to him.
No,
So who's saying this?
because Moses died before the 5.
So who's saying this? Who's saying Moses is receiving this from God?
saying it.
Yeah.
Rabbis.
Rabbis are saying it. And how do you know they're telling the truth?
Because it was an oral tradition. They went back.
Doesn't matter. You mean they're telling the truth?
You believe a man that came out of a cave and says, I had a visitation from an angel. How do we know?
Okay, make it easy for. No, I can deal with that point. That's not an issue.
In the same way that you're basing everything you're saying upon one man who claimed to have a revelation
Allahu
on the
Akbar.
mountain, and claimed that God had spoken to him and told him what to ask.
Okay.
Okay. In that same way.
Where did Moses make that claim?
What?
Where did Moses make that claim?
Where did Muhammad make the claim?
Muhammad makes the claim clearly.
No, as in, where does Muhammad make the claim?
That God's been revealed to him. That it's been revealed to him. He makes the claim all over the place.
But why should we believe him?
No, that's a point. That's a very good point. Here's the thing you see. Here's the difference you
He's
see.
one person.
No, but look, here's the
We've
difference.
got 3
No, but here's the
persons.
difference. Here's the difference you see. Muhammad is making the claim, Moses isn't. You're putting the claim on Moses. Muhammad is making the claim himself. So there's no claim to answer here. There's a claim to answer here. Yeah?
But we have an oral tradition going back all the way to that time.
Yeah. I'm sure the Hindus have an oral tradition about Ganesh as well. Makes no difference. Means nothing.
Yeah, but you can't compare us to the Hindus because the Hindus, everyone's got something different.
No, it doesn't matter. They can still have an oral tradition that they all believe.
They've got genealogies, they've got history.
What genealogy? We've got no genealogy. That's not.
It has
They've got genealogy after genealogy.
Genealogy of what?
It's true.
And
My monarchy is an
cruise
example.
Genealogy of what?
And people.
The
genealogy doesn't marry out.
My monarchy is an
genealogy?
So much
example.
proof.
But-
This is another topic anyway.
But let's go back to the point. No, because it's good you brought it up. How do we know Muhammad is telling the truth? Yeah. Because he's making a claim.
Yeah.
So we have to address his claim. Moses isn't making a claim. You're putting the claim on him. So I don't have to address that claim. I can challenge the rabbis. You tell me the name of the rabbis and why I should believe them. I don't mind. I can do that. Okay. But Muhammad makes that claim. Now, there's only 4 variables here. He's lying, pretending, he's crazy, he's deceived. Yeah? He's mad. Sorry, he's crazy and mad. Sorry, that's the wrong one. He's deceived, meaning the devil tricked him. You don't believe the devil would do that, is it?
Or that he was lying.
No. Well, let's first go to the 4 variables. No one's making a claim on any of them right now, but one of them has to be true. So either he's lying, or he's deceived, or he's crazy, or he's telling the truth. Okay. What's your claim?
Either he's crazy or lying.
Crazy or lying.
But there's no real practical
All right.
application.
Do you realise crazy or lying cancel each other out? Okay. A crazy person thinks they're telling the truth. A liar knows they're not telling the truth.
Yeah, but either way, what they've said isn't true.
No. A liar knows what they're saying isn't true. A crazy person thinks what they're saying is true.
But what they're saying isn't true.
No, but that's irrelevant.
It is relevant.
It's not. You can't be crazy and a liar.
Base your religion on a crazy.
All right, do you know what a liar is? I'll explain it again to you. Do you know what a liar is? A liar.
Yeah, somebody makes it up.
No. Somebody who says things that he knows is not true.
Yes.
Okay? If a crazy person thinks what they're saying is true, he can't be a liar. Because a liar knows what they're saying is not true.
Yeah, but what's the practical difference at the end of the day?
I'll say it again. The practical difference is very, very simple. The intention behind a lie is knowing you're lying.
It's not the intention.
Why I am?
That's not the point. The point is,
Well, you can't be crazy and a liar.
it doesn't matter about the intention. It matters about what comes out of it at the end.
No.
What's the outcome at the
A
end?
crazy person...
Has he said something that is true?
No. A crazy person cannot be called a liar.
Fine. So either he's crazy or he's a liar.
Or
Or
he's deceived, or he's telling the truth.
Fine.
Right. So if you want to make the claim, I'm assuming you were going to rule out deceived, yeah? He loves deceived, but you want to rule out... Excuse me? You like deceived, isn't it?
I like deceived.
Yeah, you believe Muhammad was deceived by the devil in the cave and all that. He's a Christian. That's usually their forte. Do you believe that?
Does it really matter? If
Yeah,
what you
it
said
really
at the end of the day
matters. I mean,
is
look,
No, it does matter. It does matter. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it matters. 1 second. I'll tell you why it matters. Because one of those 4 variables is correct. One of those 4 variables is the reality. Yeah. So I want to. So I need to know. I want to know. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful, beautiful saying.
No. You've got to look.
Proof of the
at what
pudding is in the
said
tasting.
you said,
And how it benefits mankind.
Allahu Akbar, that's a beautiful saying. Look at that, you do my work for me. All right, so basically, if someone's a crazy person, yeah, what they're saying they think is true. That's the nature of delusion. You're saying things you believe to be true even if they're not.
Yeah.
But you can't accuse that person of lying. Right. A liar knows they're making it up and they're out to deceive and fool the people.
Okay.
Therefore, they know they're not telling the truth.
Okay.
So you can't make both claims. So you now have to nail down...
I'm saying.
Which one?
I'm saying that it doesn't matter which one.
I'll tell you why it does.
I'll tell you why it doesn't.
I'll tell you why it does.
Well, I'll tell you why it doesn't.
Go on then.
And I'll go first.
Go on then.
All right? Because at the end of the day, whether he thinks he's telling the truth or he's lying, okay, so he thinks he's telling the truth because he's crazy, or he's lying because he's a liar, okay, either way what he said is not true. It doesn't matter whether he thinks it's true or he knows it's not true.
Right. Okay.
So it won't matter.
I'll tell you why.
Either way what he said isn't true.
Okay, first thing, if I want to refute the claim of deception, it's got nothing to do with the way I'll refute deception is completely different to the way I'll refute a liar. Yeah? Now, if you want to make the claim he's crazy and delusional, and for 23 years he was having visions of angels, make the claim, mate. But then bring your evidence, or bring your reasons, and justify what you're saying. Don't just say it because he doesn't agree with what you're saying.
I'm not just saying because...
No, you're claiming Muhammad was crazy, yeah? Let's start with crazy, I don't mind.
I'm not claiming that he was crazy.
You have to be.
No.
He's either a liar or he's crazy.
I'm claiming that it's not very credible to believe one person.
So if I can refute the claim of crazy and refute the claim of liar, then you concede he's telling the truth.
No.
Why not?
Because you can't...
Okay, if I refute your claim that he was crazy, and I refute your claim that he was lying, therefore he's telling the truth.
Okay, fine.
Then you'll have to accept Islam is true, and the Quran is true.
No.
Not if it
Why not?
contradicts the Torah.
Why not?
Where's the logic in that?
Why not?
I've got an answer for you.
Why not?
Answer for you, mate.
He hasn't tried to refute it yet.
Well, I'm going to.
I can refute that for you. I'll refute that for you. You're basically saying that You're basically saying that Prophet Muhammad is crazy, yeah? That's impossible. Because Prophet Muhammad, I'm a direct blood descendant of Prophet Muhammad. Alright, so basically what he had around him was a carbon cloud. Okay, this is spoken about, but let me just explain what this is. Why carbon? Why carbon? The universe is rife with carbon. Before a star is born, it goes through a triple alpha carbon process. Okay, that carbon cloud basically works in line with what's in the center of everyone's brain.
Let me just stay on point. Let me just stay on point.
Well,
no, that's completely.
Well, basically, no, it's not. Basically, it works. It works with something called a pineal gland. You have a pineal gland in the center of your brain. This eye is the eye of Horus. You can see it everywhere. Okay, so he was surrounded by supernatural. He wasn't crazy. That cave they speak about is a mythical cave. It's in the mind. It's called the Shambhala Amenta. It's spoken about as the underworld in Egyptian mythology, mate. So to be honest, we're talking nonsense.
Let me stay on point. Let me stay on point. Tell me a point. All right. So your claim is that he was crazy. Let's deal with that initial one first. All right. That was like an interval. Okay. The claim is.
Ever.
Have you seen some of the adverts? Anyway, so the claim is this, that he's crazy. So we have to ask ourselves, could a crazy man have come up with the Quran? Could a crazy man have done what brought Islam in the way it is today? Could he have brought legislation and things? Would people have followed a crazy man? Was he known as a crazy man? All of these things we have to weigh it up.
He was an epileptic, no? Wasn't he?
What are you on about?
Wasn't he an epileptic?
What are you on about?
Huh?
Where'd you get that from? Anyway, relax. So anyway,
Couldn't read, no?
let's establish one thing. Do people, could a crazy person have come up with the Quran?
Yes.
Really?
Of course. Crazy person can do anything.
A crazy person could come up with the Quran. A crazy person will be followed by the people. Really?
If they don't know he's crazy.
A crazy person will be recognised by non-Muslim scholars as being one of the most successful, influential men has ever existed.
If you're crazy and charismatic, then people will probably follow you. If they don't know that you're crazy.
They followed Hitler.
They don't
crazy.
Well, that's a good point.
If you don't understand the supernatural, you can't refute anything. So this guy.
No, one second.
You've given me your science lesson already. I don't think it was a
I'm actually telling you why you have the perception of why he was crazy.
Do you understand? So the point here is this: you can make a claim, but you have to support your claim. Now, no one can prove whether he's crazy or not, but we can use our rationale. We can use our rationale, yeah, and we use our logic. We use our logic to understand. Yeah. Do you understand?
So I can't compare two people at once.
Right. Do you understand? So we have to use logic.
Hey, brother, let him speak, man.
So
it's pointless, isn't it? Because
it's pointless for you. Don't stay then. Don't stay then. Don't stay then. If it's pointless.
Well, what's the point of you backing up Prophet Muhammad? Prophet Muhammad doesn't need your backup because this guy's saying he's crazy, and you're basically listen.
Listen, my friend. I know what I'm doing. Just relax. Just relax.
Carry on.
You know, if you want to speak to him after about this and carbon.
I don't really care about carbon.
Anyway, so the point here is this: we have to look at the probabilities and the rationale. And to be honest with you, if you look at the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you look at the Quran that he came with, you look at the way that people followed him.
Look at his life.
What?
Look at his life.
Oh my God.
You say we have to look at the life of...
We have to, yeah.
Let's look at his life.
What do you want to look at?
Okay, warlord.
Moses. Go on, carry on. Carry on.
Right?
Who's
Married
this warlord?
young women, married these...
Shouldn't be talking about
Please.
He's his son's wife.
Oh, I'm from the bloodline of.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Listen.
You complain about...
Listen.
Complain
One second.
about... Let's talk about Muhammad.
Listen. For the benefit of the camera, we're going to deal with his claims against Muhammad after. We'll deal with you, Paul.
No,
Paul. Paul, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it.
I can take you to India
Paul, we'll deal with
right
it.
now.
Paul, we'll deal with it later.
I can take you to
I'll give you all the
India
attention,
right
mate.
now. There's a museum.
I'll give you all the attention.
There is a
I'll give you all the
museum
attention.
Devoted
Listen,
to
I'll give you all the
Muslims
attention.
Killing
I'll
our
give you all the
Sikhs.
attention. I'll give you all the attention, mate. I know you were taught as a kid that one of the Sikh gurus was sawn in half and they couldn't break him. I know that. I've heard the fairy stories, mate.
It's
Right
recorded in the Punjabi history.
now, we're dealing with something.
Okay.
All right.
How did Islam spread to this far?
We'll deal with this nonsense later.
Places off the world.
Yeah.
No. How did it spread?
Yeah, but it doesn't. We're trying to learn
Let me
something.
carry something.
What are you doing, man?
You did not go over there and give dawah. That's not how it spread. It spread by the
Who
sword.
told you that?
There's a
Who told you that?
sword.
Who told you that?
That's how it spread.
Who told you that?
converse with me.
Let
them enjoy.
Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking?
No.
Sure.
No. I think you need a drink.
No, have you been?
You said
All
let's
right, all right.
examine the.
No. I said to you.
Let's examine
I
it.
said we will, but
Let's
not now.
examine it.
But not now.
No, he made a claim.
He's speaking to the brother here.
He made a claim.
Bro.
No.
Shall I deal with this?
No, converse with us. Don't be rude. You're being rude to them. That's
Brother
unfair.
Hamza, I
That's not
think you
very
should
good.
deal with first discussion and others should keep quiet.
They're going on a tantrum.
All right.
No, he said let's deal with it.
If anyone wants to know what I think, I'm fine with it.
So you believe he was.
I'm fine with it. Everyone.
All right, because your initial claim he was a liar, and now you're saying he was crazy. Yeah. So if we look at his life, if we look at what people say
I
about
didn't have
him.
an initial claim. I said it didn't matter whether he was a liar or crazy. That's what I said. You have to assume one or the other.
No, we have to rule them out one by one, innit? What's more likelihood for you?
Did he die by the sword?
It really has no practical implication.
Huh?
No,
The principle is this: a crazy person, a delusional person, could not have done what he did for 23 years.
how do you know?
Name a crazy person who has done it. What? Hitler did what for 23 years?
Not 23.
What did he do?
He did it for 12 years.
What did he do?
He managed to convince the whole German people that
This is going to go to another subject, though.
the Jews were vermin and
The
that
Jews declared war on Germany. You know that, don't you?
Jews never declared war.
Really? You not seen that article in the paper? Judea declares war on Germany. Were you aware of that or not?
That's absolute nonsense.
Really?
Never heard of such a thing.
All right. So just because you've heard of it, not heard of it, does that make it nonsense?
No, that's not
All right.
why.
Let me give you that link because you went off on a tangent. I don't want to jump onto that tangent.
Really?
About Hitler. 1 second.
Please tell me where was such a...
I'll show you the headlines. I'll show you the headline.
Because my grandparents lived through 1930s in Birmingham.
Okay, listen.
And
All I can do is show you a headline, innit? And then you can make of it what you will. Fair enough? You weren't aware of that, were you? Judea, after the First World War, and the state of Germany, and the 1 second. Oh, what am I doing there?
who made this article?
I think it's the Daily Express. I think so. I
The
don't
Jews
know.
never once declared war on Germany.
Why are you saying that when you don't know? Well, you don't know, do you?
I do know. My grandparents lived through the time. If the Jews had declared war on Germany, it would be common knowledge amongst Jews. We would know about it. If we
You're going to learn something today, then, aren't you?
What?
You're going to learn something today. You can laugh and scoff as much as you like.
I can.
But if you want to understand why the German people stood by Hitler when he did what he did to the Jews, yeah, you need to see what the Judeans were declaring to do to Germany.
They never.
What do you mean? Okay, listen. On Friday, March 24th, 1933, the headline "Judea declares war on Germany" was splashed across the front page of the British newspaper Daily Express. The subheads read, "Jews of all the world unite in action. Boycott of German goods, mass demonstrations in many districts."
Was this after Hitler had been voted as Chancellor?
It may well have been.
If it was, everyone knew what it said in Mein Kampf. Everyone knew what Hitler wanted to do to us.
Oh wait, I'm explaining why the people followed Hitler.
People followed Hitler
Because
charismatic.
he showed them who the enemy are. Because look, they're threatening to boycott us, and they can see how economically destroyed we are after the First World War, and now they want to destroy us economically. All the Jewish bankers, yeah, they want to destroy all the infrastructure of Germany. So of course, if you're a German and you've got a guy standing up for you saying, "Look what they're going to do to us," look at this newspaper article. We have to fight back, man. Why do you think Poland was the first country invaded? Because that's where the Jewish concentration was. Right, exactly. So what I'm saying to you is this: you're asking why people follow Hitler. I'm telling you.
People followed Hitler because he made it seem as if the Jews were the cause of Germany's losses in the First World War.
I've just showed you a headline.
That they were the fact that no one besides you has ever heard of this headline.
Yeah. You're not going to hear about it. Why are you going to hear about it? It goes against your narrative.
I don't have a narrative. I have history.
No. I'm explaining why people followed Hitler, and they give reason. Now the question is, why do people follow Muhammad? Because people who follow Muhammad were persecuted and tortured and exiled. Why would you follow a man who you think it's going to cost me my life? I'm going to be persecuted. You know what happened to the Jews in Germany? The star was put on them. Okay, this happened to the Muslims in Mecca. Yeah, no one can marry their daughters to them. No one can sell bread to them. Any of the merchants coming to town couldn't trade with them. So to follow Muhammad was a hard life. Some of the reverts today will actually say the same. Anyway, it was a hard life. Yeah, but it was a threat to your life. People were tortured because of following him. So it makes you say, if they thought he was crazy, why would you follow him? It makes no sense to follow him. If you want to use probabilities here. And then for him to come up with the Quran. And then to see what non-Muslim historians will say about him today. How one Christian historian puts him as the #1 influential man who's ever existed in the world.
He seems to be quite influential.
Huh?
He seems to be quite influential.
Exactly. What Lamartine said about him. What all of these people said about him. Why are non-Muslim scholars speaking so highly of him? No one mentioned crazy. All right, you speak about Napoleon, you speak about crazy. You speak about Muhammad, no one mentions crazy, mate. No one's made this claim he was crazy, except you.
My monotheist states.
Huh?
My monotheist states.
Okay. The Arabs, initially, the pagan Arabs, what was their response? They thought he was crazy, but they said, how can a crazy man come out with this? Because the Arabic he was coming out with was so exquisite, it blew apart anything they had. And they said, he's an illiterate man, this is not random mumbo jumbo, this is legislation, this is a system, as some brother said. You know what I'm saying? So they first made the accusation, and then they realized that no, it can't be crazy to do this. Yeah? What was their conclusion? It's magic. It's sorcery. So there was something so profound in the Arabic language of the Quran that the pagan Arabs and the pagan poets who knew Arabic said, this is beyond anything we know, mate. This is like supernatural, if you like. All right. So now we can come down to liar. Because I'm telling you, no one makes this claim he was crazy.
People believing someone, by the way, does not prove that he was not crazy.
But nobody makes this claim. His enemies didn't make this claim. Because when they heard the Quran, the people who understood the Quran, they understood the Arabic, they knew this is not a crazy guy coming out with this. It's not mumbo jumbo. How can an articulate come out with this? An illiterate man come out with such a thing for 23 years? And people followed him.
So let's go on to lying.
Yeah, all right. So I'm telling you, don't ever make that claim again that he was crazy. You can make the claim he's a liar. That makes sense.
So go on to that then.
So let's go on to liar. But you accept once he's not a liar, he's telling the truth. And you got a problem then. If he's telling the truth, you got a problem. Well, let's see, isn't it? So your claim now is he lied. Why did he lie?
Power.
Why?
Everyone likes power.
Okay.
I'm sure you love power, eh?
But do you know, let's understand his circumstances. He was married to the richest woman in Mecca. Yeah? First thing.
Proof? How do you know?
Historical records, obviously.
Where are these historical records?
We have them, isn't it? In the hadith.
And
in the history. You have a history. You just quote your history, and I'm not allowed to have history.
Yeah, and every time I do my history, you call me like.
No. There's a difference here. You see, I'm saying Moses never made a claim that he got revelation from God, and the 5 books were revelation from God. Moses never made that claim. Yeah, that claim is put upon him by whomever. Muhammad made the claim.
Wait, hold on. In the Torah, it says that the Jewish people as a whole had a revelation by God. And that's
no, you made a claim Moses wrote the 5 books.
Almost.
Yeah. And yet, Moses didn't make that claim.
As in that Moses did not make the claim that he wrote the 5
Right. But Muhammad makes the claim that he received revelation. That's the whole point of the whole discussion. Yeah. Moses never made a claim of revelation. Muhammad did. So now your claim is he's lying. So the first question needs to be, why does a liar lie? What is his motivation? What's he going to get out of it? So first you have to establish what was his position at the time. So let's establish this.
Can I just ask you something?
Go on.
Why does Moses need to claim it when they've already had 3.6 million people have revelation outside.
Okay.
Why should Moses need to claim it?
Because if Moses is not making the claim that he's receiving revelation from God,
They're all.
no, Moses is not making the claim.
I mean, in the Torah it says.
Did these 3.6 million people heard of all of Exodus being revealed?
No.
Right.
In the Torah, it does say that Moses wrote it down.
Okay. Did Moses claim revelation? This is the difference. Moses didn't make that claim. You're putting the claim on him. Because I asked you, why do you believe what it says? And you said, because Moses got revelation. And did Moses claim revelation? No. So who claimed it? Some rabbis, you said.
I mean, Joshua also says that Moses wrote down the Torah. And Joshua was
There's a difference between writing something down and having revelation.
Obviously he had revelation because of the Mount Sinai.
No. Why is it all revelation? I don't believe it's all revelation. Why do you believe it's all revelation? I believe the Quran is all revelation, but I don't believe the Old Testament is. And the author of your book doesn't make that claim, just as the New Testament authors don't claim they're inspired by God either when they write the Gospels. Yeah? But the Quran, the author of the Quran, the one who came with the Quran, claims it's coming from God. It's revelation. Check the time. How much time do you have?
We need to go at about 10 past 6.
What's the time now?
5 to 6.
Yeah, it's enough time. It's enough time to finish you off.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Hey?
It's enough time to finish you off. Yeah, I'm going to finish off your claim. Okay, remember what I said to you? You need to justify your claim. So you claim he's a liar. So first of all, to claim he's a liar, you need to know his circumstances, yeah, and what his motivations were to lie. Bismillah. Are you aware of his circumstances, first of all?
Circumstances where he lived in Arabia, in Mecca. He was driven out when he said he went to a fake.
No. Because if he's lying, yeah, you've skipped a bit now. Because you're saying the lie's already started.
Yeah.
And for that lie, he's then kicked out of Mecca, yeah?
He's kicked out of Mecca because he insulted.
No, but why did he start the lie in the first place? That's the point.
Power.
So first of all, before you can make that claim, did he have power already or not? Did he ever exhibit he wanted power?
Everyone wants more.
No. You're making a claim about somebody. So to make a claim about somebody, you need to know that somebody. And if you don't know that somebody, you can't make claims about that somebody because you don't know. So if you want to say someone did something for a reason, say for example you said he did it for power and he was already a king, for example. Then he doesn't need to do it.
You think that kings don't want more power?
No, to do something. I'll make it easy for you. He was living in Arabia, in Mecca, a pagan city, where idols were brought to the Kaaba. And the city made its living of merchants coming to trade with the pilgrims who used to bring statues to worship at the Kaaba. Yeah? So that's his environment. He's married to the richest woman in Mecca, and his uncles are the custodians of the Kaaba. So his uncles already have control of the Kaaba and control of Mecca. He's married to the richest woman in Mecca. He's known as the trusted one. Yeah? So this is him. Then all of a sudden, one day, he goes down to the Mecca, to the Kaaba, tells them to stop worshipping idols, to worship the one God, the God of Abraham, yeah, and to stop burying your daughters alive, and to bring all this legislation and such. Okay. Why would you do that? First of all, what motivation to do it? When you're known as a truthful one for 40 years, your claim now is that this man who is trusted by everybody in Mecca as the one to arbitrate between tribes when they have issues, you're now turning around and telling me after 40 years he's made a liar. Yeah. It makes no sense, first of all. It makes no sense.
Everyone wants more and more power.
But he never made a claim for power, yeah? By making this claim, he got persecuted and exiled.
Actually, Eventually, in the long run.
No, persecuted initially.
But eventually, in the long run, what did he achieve? A lot of power.
No. How did he know that? He was initially persecuted. Those who followed him were persecuted. Yeah, they offered him everything to stop calling the people to worship one God. You should be happy. You should be rejoicing that one man has gone down to a pagan place and told them to stop worshipping idols and to worship the God of Abraham. You should be happy, man. Then why do you think he's going to lie about that? You've got to justify your claims to be a liar. And then he's persecuted for this. Yeah? And exiled for this. And you're still claiming he's lying, so now he's being tortured, and not him personally, but the people who followed him were tortured, and then been put in the desert to starve to death. And who saved them? The Jews of Yathrib, who he agreed to be a mediator between their people there. Yeah? And did you know that the Jews used to say to the pagan Arabs, when our prophet comes, we'll deal with you? Did you know that? Something to you reflect upon. The Jews of Yathrib. You'll Google it. Google is your friend. Okay? Now when you laugh at this,
you can find all sorts of things on Google.
Okay, so what you do when you Google things, you look at the references. Yeah? And then you find the hard copy of those references. And then it's like going to a library, innit? If you go to a library, understand, when you say Google, people like laugh. Google is like going into a library, going to the librarian and saying, excuse me, you've got a book on cars. And the librarian will say, yeah, it's over in that section there, whatever. That's all Google's doing. Yeah, it's a source of information. Now, when you get that information, you can verify it. Wikipedia, a little bit dodgy because people can influence it. Yeah. So anyway, Google this. The Arabs of the Jews of Medina, were mocking and it was called Yathrib at the time. They were mocking the Arabs, pagans, saying when our prophet comes. So they were waiting for a prophet. They didn't realize it was going to be Arabian. Anyway, so the point here is this. So it was after that, then he became the custodian of the city of Medina, and we know what happened. Now there was a time when his baby sons died. He had two babies, boys, both died as babies, and there was an eclipse. It was an eclipse of the moon, and the people started pointing at the moon.
No, there was an eclipse.
Okay. First thing, the difference between what we have, everything we have is documented, everything has chains of narration.
As do we.
Give me the names, I don't mind, I can refer to them.
If you look at
do you understand what hadith is?
Yes.
What is it?
At least I think I understand.
Go on.
Okay, I'm not claiming to be an expert. Hadith is what people say that Muhammad said. It's like it's instead of first hand, it's like second hand, third hand.
No, the hadith is the equivalent of the New Testament for Jesus.
Really?
Yes.
So
basically, no, it's first hand. Because okay, I'll give you an example. The Gospel of Matthew. Yeah, I know, but no, I'll tell you why it's better in a minute. I think it's got 5 minutes. Oh, okay, got 5 minutes. Okay, I'll explain why. If you read the New Testament, Gospel of Mark says, and Jesus said such and such a thing. Yeah? Basically, the Gospel of Mark tells you what Jesus said, or where he went, or what he was silent about, or what actions he took. Yeah? Okay. We don't know who Mark was. We don't know who Mark is. We don't know whether Jesus did that thing or not, because we don't know who's saying what, and we don't know if that person who says it is lying or was mistaken or whatever. Okay. So in the hadith, we basically have such and such a person heard the Prophet ﷺ say this thing. Now the person who says that needs to be honest, not known to have lied, needs to be there. There's many conditions. And then you have a chain. And each one in the chain has to have that same condition. So what I'm saying to you now will go back to somebody who was with the Prophet. So we'll give you a name. Yeah, it's not abstract. It's not some rabbis. It's the actual name of the person. And we know that person was a real person. And we know other people.
You know these rabbis are real people.
I didn't mention that. I'm saying do you have their names?
Yes.
The rabbis who said Moses received revelation?
Yes.
Okay, and why do you believe them? I don't want to digress to that. Let's stay on my point. Point here is this. The hadith is telling you the story of Muhammad, what he said, where he went, what he was silent about, what actions he took, by people who were around him. And we have a science of making sure all those people in that chain were authentic, were not liars and whatever. Now we have some hadith which are weak, meaning there was someone weak in the chain, may not have been there, we're not sure. We have fabricated ones which completely made up. So we have a system. So everything I say to you now, you have to accept that premise before I can continue.
Yeah.
All right. So through the hadith we know these things, what I'm saying to you about. Yeah? So when the baby died, there was an eclipse, and the people started pointing at the moon and saying, look, you know, even the moon is recognizing your baby's died, whatever. And the Prophet said, this is nothing, this is just the moon. It's got nothing to do with my baby. Now, if you're a charlatan, if you're lying, if you want to convince the people, you say, yeah, see, I am the Messiah. Clearly. Yeah, you would utilize that. But he didn't. So, I personally don't see any reason why he would lie. He was not known to be a liar in his life. So for you to make the claim, you need some substantial evidence, mate. Seriously. And if he's not lying, he's telling the truth. And if he's telling the truth, the Quran is revealed from God. And if the Quran is revealed from God, you need to read it, if you truly believe in God.
As I know, the Torah was revealed by God. The Torah says that, for example, the binding was of Isaac and not of Ishmael, like I've heard the Muslims claim.
No, I didn't say that, did I? But your claim, the only son is Isaac, makes no sense.
I didn't say that in sense.
Okay, so what does God say in the Bible? Sacrifice your son, your one and only son, no?
Yes. And why does he have to continue after he said that to the one you love? Why does he have to continue?
What?
The verse says...
Because he hadn't had a child. He'd waited so long to have a boy.
He'd had 2 sons.
No. At this point, your only son, how many sons do you have if you've got an only son? Honestly, basic maths.
He's got 2 sons.
No, when you say only son, how many sons you got?
1.
Right, and who's the firstborn?
Because when God says your only son, he's talking about the only son of your
Doesn't say that.
Of its mother.
Doesn't say that.
That's what it means.
No, it doesn't.
In the oral law, that
doesn't say that. No, it doesn't. The rights of the firstborn is the rights of the...
In the oral law...
Listen, in your book...
It's not the firstborn properly, because it's the firstborn of a concubine.
Where does that say that concubine is a lesser son?
In the oral law.
Show me.
I don't have the oral law here. I've got the...
So what does it say in the oral law? Where does it say that in the oral law?
That the son of a concubine...
Is less than the son of a...
The son of a concubine does not get the firstborn rights.
All right. And the written law, which you said is from Moses, yeah, says the rights of the firstborn cannot be usurped.
It's all from God to Moses and Mount Sinai.
So the oral law is from God?
Yes.
So now you're saying there's a contradiction between this and this?
There's no contradiction.
So what does it say about the rights of the firstborn?
The oral law is to explain the written law, to explain what it means. That verse seems to be a very strange verse at first glance, because what does what does the verse say?
About the firstborn? About the rights of the firstborn?
No, I'm talking about this verse in the binding.
What does it say about the rights of the firstborn?
The verse says, take your son, your take your son, your only son.
Your only son.
Your only son that you love.
So he didn't love Ishmael.
No, Isaac.
So he didn't love Ishmael.
Why does it then say Isaac? Okay, if it's so obvious.
Because the Jews wrote the book. Obviously, it has to be Isaac.
If it
can't be Ishmael, can it? So I'm messing it all up.
What the oral law explains is as follows: that this is.
I don't trust this oral law.
As a Jew, I do trust it.
Yeah, no, you do.
It's been passed down as a tradition.
Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that?
Because it's been passed down
from who?
From rabbi to student to student to student, all the way down to us.
Okay.
What did God say? God said, "Take your son." Abraham said.
When was the oral law first said?
Mount Sinai.
The oral law came down from Mount Sinai.
Yes. That's why another way of saying it is. Do
you know what it sounds like to me? Do you know what it sounds like to me? Do you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like the oral law is trying to shape the written. It's trying to rule out. It can't be Ishmael. It can't be Esau.
There are so many.
It's trying to justify what that's saying, because what you're believing can't be justified by that.
There are so many things in the written law, okay, in terms of commandments, for example, okay, you just can't understand without it. So, for example,
anyway, let's stay on point. Let's talk about Muhammad. You still believe he was a liar? You still believe he was a liar, even though everything I've said to you?
Yes.
Why?
I'm trying to explain to you.
Why?
Because what he says contradicts the Torah. In the Quran.
Well, that's got nothing to do with it. You said he was a liar. I want you to show he's a liar.
Because what he says contradicts the Torah. If what he says contradicts the Torah, so he must be lying.
How does that make him a liar?
What?
Well, if the Torah's wrong.
The Torah's right.
How do you know?
I know, it's been passed down.
How do you know it's right, though?
Because of the uniformity of it all, okay? It can't have been changed to take out Muhammad. It can't have been changed for any...
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't say that.
You can't say Muhammad's a liar because he doesn't agree with the Torah. It's ridiculous.
I can.
Well, you can't, because you got to justify he's a liar then. And if you look at his life, you can't see it, mate.
He clearly has lied.
No. How you can't make that claim unless you can understand why he would lie. Why does he need to lie? Why does he need to make it? Why does he care what that says? Why does he remain as a pagan and take custodian and his uncles have custodian of the Kaaba and all of these things? Why make this claim? Why ostracize his uncles? Why be persecuted? Why be exiled to die? Why? For a lie? Really?
That's what he's done.
Even the pagans call him trustworthy.
Honestly, for 40 years this guy's known as a trustworthy one.
Why is that not?
Not by the Jews.
What? What are you on about?
So he says, believe in the God of Abraham. Is that a lie?
Listen, if a Jew wants to make a claim about Muhammad, bring your evidence. What is that?
He said, Abraham, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to believe in the God of Abraham. Is that a lie?
Exactly.
So the God of Abraham is a lie, because he believes in him. And he says the Torah is real, but it has been changed, so he believes in the Torah.
And why does he say the God of Abraham and not the God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob?
Ishmael.
Say it again, sorry.
And not the God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, like he's always been.
It does.
He does?
He's saying
Yes.
the God of Abraham.
No. If you read, it depends. Depends what it's referring to. God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Noah. It depends who it's referring to. Which prophet? I say Abraham because I know it resonates. You like that?
Yes, but when
But it says God of Jacob, God of Isaac. No problem. But the problem is this, you
do you
see.
agree it goes through Isaac?
What do you mean? Well, Isaac is the son of Jacob, isn't he?
Yes.
So it's referring to that storyline, isn't it? No, it's going to be in there. If it's referring to that,
I think my time is up.
I think it is. It's been a pleasure. I want you to question what you said, though. You're going to see the video. EFDawah is our channel. I want you to seriously look at this claim he's a liar. Seriously. And stop lying to yourself. Because here's what you've got to imagine. Listen, forget your confirmation bias. Forget the things that support your claim, what you believe. You have to wipe the slate clean. You have to say, I'm a lay person, I don't know anything, I'm looking at the claims as they are in front of me. Not just because I don't agree.
Can I ask you a question? Doesn't it say in your Old Testament that, just one question, that God is going to make Ishmael a great nation? So where is the great nation?
And you're not a great nation? Looks like it to me.
And is a great nation in the eyes of God a pagan nation? Is a great nation in the eyes of God a pagan nation? Is the great nation in the eyes of God a pagan nation? Or is a great nation in the eyes of God one that worships
It doesn't
God?
say great nation, it says multitudinous nation.
No, it does say great nation already in Genesis.
No, but he's reading his.
In the Hebrew.
He reads the doctor's Bible.
In the Hebrew, it says Rav. Okay, it's going to be a multitudinous nation. Rav does not mean great; it means multitudinous.
Can it mean great?
No,
Never.
it never means great.
So in all of the Bibles you read, it says great except yours.
Christian Bibles have always been changed in terms of translations. There's so many.
Why would they say great though instead of multitude?
Yeah, there are a lot of mistranslations in Christian Bibles. I'm going according
What's
to
the word?
original,
One second. What's the meaning? 1 second.
Sorry.
Been a pleasure.
See you.
Take care. Is Paul still about? We'll do a Paul. Okay, sorry, just gonna do our little close. Okay, that was interesting. Started off over there with the other aggressive Jewish guy. Got rinsed pretty quickly. Trump's America, no-go zones in London, fell for all that claptrap. Didn't know his history about how far from Islam forcing Jews to convert to Islam, Islam is responsible for the saviour and protection of Jews. If it wasn't for Islam, there would be no Jews. The Christians were slaughtering them everywhere, whereas the Muslims offered them protection for 800 years. And how they ended up in Morocco? Because after the Reconquista from Isabella and Ferdinand, the Muslims invited and allowed the Jews to come with them to Morocco. So that deals with that. Now my man here is making a claim about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First he started off as crazy, which is a ridiculous notion. I mean, I pretty much dismissed straight away. But then we're left with liar. And you guys have to think about that, especially you non-Muslims, because you can claim as you like anything. But if you want to make a claim about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a liar, then you need to justify it. You can't just make haphazard claims because they don't suit your worldview. You need to support it. You need to tell us why you believe he was a liar, why he lied, and why he would suffer persecution for that lie. And when you can't, and you realise that he was a trusted one, then think to yourself, well, if he wasn't a liar, and if he wasn't crazy, and he wasn't deceived. Well, the Christian was going to make that claim, I don't know where he's gone. Then he's telling the truth. And if he's telling the truth, that means an angel did reveal the Quran to him. And that means the Quran is the word of Allah. And that means follow the guidance. Because if you read the Quran, and I urge you to do so, you'll see it's a history of man, it's the future of man, and it's the guidance of man in the world today, inshallah. And if you adopt the teachings of the Quran and Islam into your life, alhamdulillah, trust me, your life will be easy, inshallah. Okay, until next time. Assalamu alaikum. Where's Paul?